Oh yeah, we're doing one of those kinds of videos again, guys. We got the TV. We're gonna have the TV going, and we're gonna have the GameCube this time, because I don't know if I've briefed you guys on this, but I did put the GameCube directly next to the Super Nintendo for this console corner because it just fits. They literally use the same AV cords. Shit, if I had enough room, I'd put a Nintendo 64 right here, but I don't. So, you get the GameCube, and you get the GameCube gameplay. We're playing some Medal of Honor. I think this is Rising Sun. Yeah, because it's the World War II one, where you fight the Japanese. And I have not played this game in literally years, but it had a pretty good port on the GameCube. The visuals were great. It controlled perfectly. I always did prefer first-person shooters on the GameCube because the controller is very responsive. It works. For lack of a better way to explain it, like it just feels good in your hands for this kind of game. And it's especially nice if you have regular sized or small sized hands like myself. Like, I don't have big hands, but I don't exactly have small hands either. And so, continue without saving. That's what I wanted to do. Do I have to click start? B, maybe? What the fuck? Is it just literally not letting me? I press confirm. Oh, okay, there we go. Missions, Day of Infamy, start mission. Let's fucking go, bro. But yeah, it feels a lot better in my hands. And I would argue that the GameCube controller might actually be the best controller ever made. Like, a lot of people are gonna call cap on that, or they're just gonna disagree, but I think the GameCube controller is one of the best controllers. It's still too loud. But today, I had actually... What the fuck? Okay. I had actually received a letter from Google for unclaimed property. Yo, this guy's trying to tell me to go this way? The frame rate in this game is a little inconsistent. Like, I think we were dropping to, like, less than 30 frames for a moment there, but it looks like we're at a solid 30 again. I got a letter from Google for unclaimed property for $76, and I was like, hell yeah. Wait, you have to jump, but what button is jump? Oh my god, it's Y. It's the Y button. Okay, this is gonna take me a moment to get used to. Action is A. Yes, thankfully action is A. This was before they had a standardized layout for controls in video games. It wasn't until the PS3 generation when, like, basically every game ended up having the same controls. But it was surprising to see that, because apparently in my state, at least, there is a law where if money that is owed to you has been owed to you for a certain number of years and it goes unclaimed, it has to be given to the state. And then you have to file a claim with the state in order to get your funds, which just sounds like a nightmare. So Google sent me this letter that was like, yo, we can help you out with this. Just send us your information and we'll get it going. So, of course, I obliged. I signed up for that shit. And hopefully it's going to end up in my bank account soon enough. But it felt like such a blast from the past seeing it, because, like, I used to make $100 or, like, almost $100 every month from ads for, like, a solid, like, 3 or 4 months, which was crazy. And it was because I would put like 10 ads in my videos. I was completely shameless with it. Wait, I'm supposed to shoot the planes? Okay. With this fucking thing? Wait. That actually kills them? It's like a couple shots from this thing and the planes explode. That doesn't make any logical sense, but okay. I think our boat is about to go down. Oh my God, was this what Pearl Harbor was like? If this is what Pearl Harbor was like, I don't think it's, they call it a day of infamy. I don't think it was much of a day of anything. Look at this frame rate. I mean, can you imagine being one of the US GIs and like the planes are coming at you 15 frames a second? I wouldn't feel very intimidated at all. But yeah, it felt like a blast from the past, because back then, like, I was making a decent amount on Patreon. People were really fucking excited about my videos for some reason. And I was making like $75 or something like that on Patreon. I think it was like almost 100. And then I'd make the 100 from AdSense every month. So I had like a good like $200 that I was getting from there. And for a while, like, I would spend it on books or PS2. California defended. I thought that said defeated for a moment. I was like, oh shit. But I guess that was all it took to defend California. I thought the Day of Infamy happened in Hawaii. Yeah, see Pearl Harbor right there. Like, wait, so this mission is Pearl Harbor? I have no idea. Maybe the ship was called California, and I just am lacking in historical knowledge. Oh, now we have to man this thing in 15 frames per second. But, yeah, back then I would just buy like PS2 games. I bought some equipment for my YouTube channel with the money from Patreon specifically, because like I had promised that I would do that and I felt kind of an obligation to. But with the AdSense money, I would just go ham on that. Like, I would get Kratom, I would get Phenibut, I'd get alcohol, weed, whatever. And it was a great time. It was a hoot, it was a holler. I got some other stuff with it as well. Mainly video games for the PS2, because prices on PS2 games back then weren't so bad, right? Like, it was pretty affordable to expand your collection as long as you were smart about it. And now I had this disposable income that like I could use to expand a collection for a console that I had been wanting to collect for since I was like 4 years old or 5 years old. And we had to get rid of ours to buy the brand spanking new hot off the shelves console, the Xbox 360. We had this massive collection for the PS2 because my dad would just go to Hastings and Blockbuster and buy the used games that had previously been rentals that they were kind of getting out of the inventory. You know, they were trying to bleed the inventory for the rentals, and they would sell them. And those games always had a greatly reduced cost because they had been played by people in so many different households. And obviously, because they were rentals at some point, they had to be, what is the word for it? I used to have a grinder to do this. I don't even remember what it's called. I'm just going to say refurbished. They had to refurbish the discs so many times. Do you know what it's called? When you're like using the grinder to like fix the scratches on the discs, buff them. Yeah, they had to be buffed so many times that like those discs were not gonna last very long, right? And those were a lot of the games that he owned, but like there were also just ones that you could buy brand new or pretty used for like nothing at this time. So we had hundreds of games. And he gave those up just to get the Xbox 360 along with our console and all the controllers, peripherals, everything. And it was a devastating moment for me in my childhood. I literally cried. I cried for like a long time. And my dad was trying to comfort me. He was saying like, son, it's gonna be okay. Like, you know, if you want to play Battlefront again, we'll get it on the Xbox. Like, I love you. Like, you know, you're gonna really like this console. Like, he was really trying to help me out, but I just wasn't having it. Like, I was just so upset. I think the thing he said about Battlefront specifically had got me a little bit calmer, but yeah, I didn't see any of that ever again. The only game that really got left behind was Crash Bandicoot 3 Warped, which I played the hell out of again and again for the years after that. Because, like, the following year we got the PS3, and the PS3 could play that game, so I was good to go on that one. I played that game, Jesus, like 60 fucking times to completion. I was a mad lad as a kid when it came to Crash Bandicoot 3. And if you've ever seen me play that game, like, in person, I can literally beat it in, like, 2 hours. I know every level, front to back. But the thing with the PS2 was, like, it had this kind of mystique to me, because there were just so many games on it that I either enjoyed playing from a very early age, because I started playing at 2 years old, or, like, I saw other people playing and I wasn't allowed to play them, but I still wanted to play them. Like, there was this game, for example, where you played as, I believe, an astronaut, and you had to collect these teddy bears for this little girl, and it had this really, like, strange atmosphere, this, like, horror type atmosphere, but it wasn't really a horror game. And I remember just being completely fascinated with that game and really wanting to play it, but I wasn't allowed. I was too young. And there were various titles like that that I remembered that stood out to me that I thought, oh my god, I've got to buy this eventually when I'm old enough to buy my own stuff. And one of those games was Mr. Mosquito, which is a super fucking weird game where you literally just fly around in a Japanese family's house as a mosquito and try to do tricks to suck the blood out of them. Like, oftentimes when they're, like, almost nude or, like, kind of nude. Honestly, I don't know why I was allowed to play this as a kid, but I fucking loved that game, bro. That game was so much fun. And I ended up being able to buy that as an adult for like $100. Like, it was kind of an expensive game because it's rare, but it was totally worth it because I had been thinking about that game since I was like 3-4 years old. And when we lost our console, when it got sold, I was like, that's one of the games I gotta buy, along with Kingdom Hearts and Ratchet and Clank, you know, the classics that I really enjoyed playing growing up. So of course, getting this new revenue stream from the YouTube videos, I'm literally just walking around. I don't know if those are, oh, these are Japanese soldiers. Okay. Well, I died because I was not paying any attention to the game. I was like, okay, I've got to get this shit. I've got to get these games. And now that I had this new revenue stream, I could get a lot of the games from my childhood and experience the ones that I wanted to play then but couldn't, and experience new ones that I didn't know about back then. So it was awesome, right? It was just this amazing sort of feeling that I had. Like, I didn't have much, like, disposable income, but what disposable income I did have would go to improving my living situation as a NEET, providing me more entertainment, you know? Like, I was literally just in my room at this time. Like, no IRL friends, no real interaction with family, not even really much interaction with people online. Like, I was just making videos, right? And I had a guy that I would talk to on IRC for a time. Like, I did not really talk to people much, but I'd get my drink on and I would play that PS2 with a really shitty, like, $3 Chinese HDMI converter so I could play it on my monitor. And I'd play, like, these really cheap PS2 games like 007 Quantum of Solace, which is actually a really good movie license game. Surprisingly enough, it feels like Uncharted. But I'd play that, and I'd get my drink on, and I'd just sit there, you know, chilling. And it was great. Like, even though I didn't have much, even though, like, $100, you know, $200 is not much. I'm shooting my own allies now by accident. I was able to kind of stretch it in a way where I'd have a lot of entertainment and I could be relatively comfy. And I was pursuing a dream I had, which was to get back a lot of those PS2 games. Now, nowadays, I've significantly expanded my collection. Like, I've done sort of an overview of my PS2 set. Where the fuck am I supposed to go? Now I'm just wandering around aimlessly. And there's a lot of bangers in that set. I mean, I'm not even close to getting to where I want to with that collection. There's a lot of things that I'm missing, particularly from my childhood, but like, there's a lot of fucking games on that console. And I figured, once I get this unclaimed property from Google, the money that they owe me, I'm gonna, in the spirit of back when I used to make money on YouTube, do the same fucking thing again. I'm gonna get some more PS2 games. I was already looking at some that I have been interested in and wanted to play, and I was like, hell yeah. But this also made me think about something kind of deeper, like why I actually got banned from AdSense in the first place. And, you know, as a lot of you know, wait, I'm supposed to pick up the tank cogwheel? Wait, so I'm supposed to put this in a tank, right? Okay. Yeah, there we go. I fixed the tank. Now we can actually progress to the next area. Wait, who the fuck? Okay. Look at this. What an interesting environment. I wish this game had online support on the GameCube version. Like, there were games that were on the PS2 and the Xbox that got a GameCube release, thankfully, but they pretty much always left out the online functionality, even though there was online play on the GameCube. A lot of people don't know this. Mario Kart had it, Smash Bros had it, Phantasy Star had it, which for some reason had a port on the GameCube with a fucking keyboard that you could plug into the console, which is insane. That they would release an entire keyboard just for that game. It's pretty cool aesthetically. Like, it has the GameCube sides on the side, like the sides of a regular controller, but then the middle of it is just this gigantic keyboard. And then there were like two other games that I'm blanking on that had online functionality. I think one of them was Japan only or some stupid shit like that. So they didn't really explore it. Like, they made a whole ass network adapter for the console and just never utilized it. Developers never utilized it. It was free to use, unlike with Xbox Live, but nothing happened there. And it feels like it was such a missed opportunity because, like, this game was online, it was on Xbox, it was on PS2, but you didn't see it have that functionality on the GameCube release. So there was a core part of gaming at that time that GameCube owners were just totally left out of. Like, you had it for like 5 games, and then you didn't have it for anything else. You couldn't call up your buddies from school or from work after a long day and then get on. It just wasn't like that. You'd have to call them over to your house, which people still did at that time, but it wasn't meeting the moment. Like, the trend in gaming by then it was going online. The trends were going online. And I think the GameCube is a pretty powerful console, like in terms of hardware, but in terms of like innovation, like the PS2 innovated for online, the Dreamcast definitely did, the Xbox definitely did. In terms of innovation, the GameCube was behind. The small discs weren't helping it. I mean, sure, having a smaller console made it more affordable, but if the size of the games is restricted by this strange mini DVD format, you're not going to have as many multi-plat games coming to your console at a time when games are getting bigger and bigger, which has always been the trend in gaming. Like, they've always gotten bigger with every successive generation. 2 gigabytes or whatever it was just not going to be enough. And even with this game that I'm playing right now, it comes on 2 discs. Like, in order to complete the campaign for this game, you have to insert disc 2 in at some point. Like, the PS2 had RPGs where disc 1 was on a dual layer disc. So you'd get, 8 gigabytes out of that or whatever. And the second disc was also dual layer. So you would have more than a dozen gigs there. And you had the GameCube hobbling along with barely any data. Like, that's just not what you want to do. And so there were many mistakes made. I think if they had the online functionality and some of those more mature multiplats, if they had maybe not even DVDs, but just some format with a comparable data capacity, they would have been chilling. They would have been fine. Maybe not doing as well as the PS2, in fact, probably not, but they would have been doing a little bit better. It's so sad what happened to them. The instincts were not there. They were not locked in at that time. But the amazing thing, and this is what really has me rooting for gaming these days, is that the online functionality for games on the GameCube, the PS2, the Xbox, it's being restored. And there's a fairly active player base for this stuff, which is incredible, right? It gives me a lot of hope, especially now given that a lot of PS2 games, for example, are getting direct PC ports and are getting modded and changed. The fact that you have indie developers figuring out how the hardware for these consoles works and making more and more advanced games with the new tools that they have, it's fantastic, right? I think we could see reproduction discs for the GameCube and PS2 that come with fairly complex 3D games on them, right? In the same way that we see reproduction cartridges for the NES and the like with new indie games. I mean, the Dreamcast has had a couple new games come out every year for the past 20 years, and all of them have been from these indie developers who just buy a bunch of mill CDs or old GDRs or whatever, and they put their game on there. It's great. So I have hope for gaming because the consoles that I actually like are still getting play. Like, people still care about the consoles that I like. I don't just have to be infinitely playing the same titles from that generation over and over, even though I will happily do that. Like, this isn't even that good of a game, and I'm playing it because I just love video games. Like, that is just the level of consciousness I'm on is like, I see video game from 2003, I play. You know, like that's just what I want to do. That's my vibe. Now, I may not be able to work out what your vibe is, but I do know I'm above it. Yeah, I'm definitely gonna have to buy some PS2 games in the spirit of back when I used to make money on this. You know, it would be so nice if I still made money from YouTube, but the only way to do that nowadays is to do these shitty sponsorship deals for companies that are like extremely shady. I mean, even if I had ads authorized on my channel, which I don't, because as I sort of alluded to earlier, I got banned from it for making edgy jokes. Even if I still had ads on my channel, have you noticed how all of the ads on YouTube nowadays are like these really low-paying ads for scams? Like, it's all like Elon Musk's like cat turd, like vibrator, like weird shit like that. Like here's this Everclear alternative that you can spray on your skin to keep the COVID away. Here's this like hydroxychloroquine analog that you can take to prevent neurodegenerative disease or some. It's all just like these really stupid scams that are on YouTube ads nowadays. Shit, I've literally seen the hemp company Mood, you know, hemp, like that Delta 8 shit, like the THCA, Delta 9, all that type of legal gray area cannabis. I've seen ads for the hemp company Mood on YouTube. And it'll literally just be a guy sitting in a chair going like, do you know what can get me as high as a kite right now? I'm talking about these gummies from Mood. And I'm just like, if this were like a licensed marijuana business, they literally could not do this in any state. But because it's like this weird, like legal gray area stuff, they're just advertising on YouTube. And of course, Google is gonna advertise that because nobody advertises with them anymore. I mean, I'm old enough to remember when Coca-Cola was advertising on YouTube, all the major companies. You don't see that shit anymore. I literally don't know what I'm doing or where I'm going, by the way. I'm just walking in circles because I don't know what my objective is. Locate lost explosives truck. Oh, well, that can't be too hard. I'm already wandering around. But Google used to have good advertisers. They used to have big money spenders. The thing is, they found out that ads don't actually lead to increased revenue for their companies. They can increase awareness for their companies in other ways. And they also did not like the fact that their ads were showing up on, let's just say, questionable content, pornographic content, content that promoted extremism and so on. They thought it was bad for their brand. So there were multiple reasons for why it seemed like the best thing to do for their company was just to fucking pull out of online ads, which is basically what happened. That, like, they didn't just pull out of YouTube, they pulled out of ads online. Like, ads online make nothing these days. And so the only people you see doing advertising online at this point, be it on YouTube or on Twitter or anywhere, are like these weird scam, like testosterone replacement supplement companies and shit like that. Like, that is what you see nowadays. And it gives the internet this really weird, like, scammy type of feeling. So even if I had ads on my channel, they'd probably be worthless in comparison to how much they used to be worth. And I don't even want ads like that on my videos in the first place. Like, it just feels kind of weird to think about. And I'm certainly not taking sponsorships, which is how most YouTubers make their money at this point, because all of the sponsorships are scams as well. You're telling me that I'm gonna advertise for Nord Glow VPN? No fucking way. I'm not telling my viewers to connect their internet to the FBI headquarters. Are you fucking kidding me? No. That's bad for my integrity as a creator, I think. And I'm certainly not advertising for fucking hacked Fortnite account salesmen and shit like that. But these are the kind of people who get play on the YouTube market now. You know, these are the kind of people who are paying people's bills. It's very sad. And I don't want a part of it. I don't want any part of it. You know, maybe if some company who produced things that I liked, like a hemp company, or even a fucking nootropic company or something like that. I don't even do nootropics, but I'd try them out to do an advertisement. Sure, why not? You know, I would consider it, but I just don't get emails like that because I don't make videos about that kind of thing. So I don't make money off of this shit. I'm just doing it entirely for passion and for attention. Let's be real here. Every human loves their attention. Every human loves the affirmation from random strangers online. But that's where I'm at, you know. But back at that time, for that short period of time in like 2019, 2020, I was doing pretty well. I was having a fun time online. You know, my dad ended up actually charging me for rent for a brief period because he was pissed off that I was making this money online, I guess, while he was working a quote-unquote real job. And honestly, I think the whole I'm gonna charge you for rent pretense was just that, a pretense, so that he could steal my money from me and buy drugs. But it was like, I lived there. I tried refusing. There wasn't much I could do. So I was just like, okay. Like, all right, baller, here you go. And yeah, he probably did buy drugs with it, which is like, oh well. But, you know, once the money dried up, I ended up just being a NEET without having to pay for it, which was nice. And at this time, by the way, I was literally a minor. Like, I was a minor when this shit was happening. It was fucked up. Like, it was fucked up. You don't charge a minor for rent unless you're on some, like, American Psycho, like, former Marine type shit. A former Marine becomes businessman. Like, it is fucked up, bro. But that was my life. Such is a life for a tiny little mouse like me. But these days, because I live with my mom, I don't even have to worry about rent as a 22-year-old. You know, I'm fucking chilling, bro. I am set. I can play video games all day. I can be as much of a worthless loser as I could ever possibly want to be, and there is not a damn thing that can be done to me because I'm with a parent who loves me unconditionally. Isn't that amazing, folks? We love our moms. You know, NEET gang out there with moms. You know where it's at. You know what I'm talking about. But you know, you get the tendies out. You know, where am I getting shot from? Is it just over here? I could have sworn. Okay, I guess it really was just over there. You know, I've gotten a little bit more bold in first-person shooters now. I've been using the pistol more in these games because, wait, tap the grenade button to drop a grenade? What is the grenade button? Oh. Wait. Oh! Wait, hold up. I thought I was supposed to, like, put it there. Is it to, like, blow up the door? No? Okay, well, I don't know what I'm supposed to do with that grenade. Locate lost explosives truck. I still haven't done that. I've gotten bolder with using pistols because, what, am I supposed to put it here? Because in Counter-Strike, like, you kind of have to use pistols in those really clutch moments when you've ran out of bullets but there are still enemies going after you. And I've taken that skill that I have finely tuned from playing Counter-Strike for over 600 hours, and I have brought it in to other first-person shooters. It's been serving me well, I'll tell you folks. What? I died. I immediately died. That's fucked up. That's so fucked up. Wait, huh? It sent me back to the beginning? All the way back? This is fucked up. This is not right. I don't even like this game that much. And I kind of want to play a different game with my wife right now, because I've been telling her that I'm gonna show her this game. It's called 13, by the way. It's a first-person shooter with a comic book, cel-shaded art style. Really amazingly directed game, visually speaking. There's a lot of visual stuff going on with that one, folks. But I'm not doing that because I'm playing this to talk to you. And I want to go play that because I have been telling her about it for like basically 2 years now. And also, you know the game because you've seen me stream it before, probably. I think I've told literally everyone about this game. It's like, it's been on my 3x3 for as long as I've known 3x3s were a thing. It's a really good first-person shooter, and a really good story. So, look out for that if we decide to film it, but we probably will not because filming is gay.